Welcome to Entrepreneurship Talk with MSN. I am your host, Msizi Ndlovu. Today, guys, I'm very excited and honored to be joined by Mbalenhle Vundla, who is the CEO and founder. She's going to tell us more about her company, what she does. Apparently, she's also a software developer, which myself I am as well. So I'm sure it's gonna be an exciting conversation. We're gonna talk our lingo, guys. So in case you don't get our lingo, please excuse us there. So Mbalenhle, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Msizi. It's an honor being here with you guys.
Thanks. So first thing first, who is Mbalenhle? Where is she from? And what did she study?
Okay. Mbalenhle is a young lady, very much passionate about, life, different things. I went to Succour, which is based in Umlazi, KZN. I studied software development. Before that, I matriculated at St. Francis High School, which is based in Mbalenhle. So it's a boarding school, a Roman boarding school. That's basically like a simple background of me.
Right. And then Mbalenhle, after finishing her studies, she then realized that it's not enough to just have a qualification, and then she started her business. And how did that come about, Mbalenhle? What really pushed you to start your own business? And would you please tell us more in terms of what is it that you want to fulfill with your business?
Okay. So essentially, Msizi, I come from a family of business owners, starting with my father, my mother, my siblings. So I think when it comes to, being business minded, I would have no reason not to, think along that kind of channel. I've always been a business-minded person, and I enjoy, things that are related to business. So I then took it upon myself to find something that I'm passionate about, because it's a different thing to have a business, than to actually have a business based on a passion that you have, because that's when you know that you give it all your best, even when you're then running your business and you've established it. So that is when I then decided to find MV Couture. It all started when I was at MUT, actually. There's an opportunity that I saw, and I decided, you know what, I'm actually going to go for this. So I started selling handbags informally, obviously, to, some varsity mates. And I also sold cakes at some point, So like I'm saying,
Entrepreneurship mindset.
Yeah, it came to a point where I also decided to then sell, like cupcakes, and I sold them to even my lecturers, and people loved them. They loved them. So, that's what I was saying earlier, that it's very important to find something that you love, because when your business is based on something that you love and something that you're passionate about, then I think you give it your best, and people can see that, and that's why people then decide to, support you. And then with regards to what MV Couture is about, wow, it's about elegance and class, and whether that is with, the clothing that we sell, or the handbags, or the homeware products that we're still going to be introducing in the near future, those things should just make a statement about you, so whenever somebody is probably wearing MV Couture or has an MV Couture bag, it should make a statement, about who you are, and it's not just for high-end people. I think that's another thing that is very important for me to, talk about, is that MV Couture is not just for high-end people. I made sure that I cater even for the middle-class people as well. You see, you know, many brands out there, you know, that have done very, very well for themselves, you know, that don't necessarily cater for middle-class people such as I. But yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I then decided to found MV Couture. Yeah, it's just to cater for everybody, middle class and high end.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So I want to touch on two things that you have mentioned. Number one, I thought that when I hear about MV Couture, I'm gonna hear something to do with IT, maybe to an IT company and whatever, but it's clearly not. So question number one, why did you not go into IT and then you went straight to retail? So that's question number one. I find it very interesting and it's really great actually, because it means it's not about the qualification, but it's about the purpose, about the goal, about what the qualification can enable you to do. So that's number one question that I want to ask you. Number two, just to clarify the MV Couture. So it's a brand. You are selling your own brand.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So I wanted to know that because I thought maybe you are offering different, kinds of brands, but it is your own brand that you're selling. Okay. So would you like to? Okay. Maybe the third question would be so that you answer all of them at once. Is it an online store? Or it's a physical store?
Okay, maybe let me firstly answer the first question that you asked. With regards to it being a sorry, what was the question again? Why
So
I
the
chose to focus on retail more than IT?
IT, yeah.
I think to answer you, Msizi, it's a matter of passion. You know, I'm very much passionate about IT. You know, and I'm grateful for the lessons that it has come with. You know, and it's not that I'm saying that I don't necessarily now believe in myself to think that I can't start like an IT empire. You know, but I think this is where I want to start. You know. I do have like plans of, you know, having, you know, another company at some point, but right now, this is where I am, you know, this is the opportunity that I'm seeing right now. And that is why I'm then, you know, taking myself, you know, to it. And I'm deciding what's, you know, this is what I want to do, you know, for now. At some point, maybe not. I might then decide to, you know, do something that is IT related. I think I enjoy IT as a career more than it being, you know, like a business. So yeah, for now, I think MV Couture is just what I want to put all my energy towards and not look like onto the sides. So yeah. Sorry, what was the second question again?
The second question, I guess it was about, what was it about?
I remember that one of the other questions that you have was whether it's a physical or online store.
Right.
So
Maybe let's start with that one.
given that you know, I'm in the IT space, you know, I don't think it would have made any sense for me to then have a physical store. You know, I decided to be very much savvy, and given that it's only a startup business, so I decided to then open an online store, which is, you know, where most businesses will be, you know, going from now on. You know, that's the direction that we are, you know, going towards now. Everything is moving online. So if you're not moving with the times, you're really going to have a problem. You know, so I think that's one of the reasons why I then decided to rather make it an online store. Maybe at some point when I see that, you know, the business is doing quite well, you know, and maybe there's too much traffic for the online store, then I might just consider having a physical one, you know. So yeah. Okay.
And I want us to talk about e-commerce. Do you think it is the future? I'm asking this because if you look at the big um, businesses nowadays, it's Amazon, it's Alibaba, and then here in South Africa we have our Takealot, which is doing quite well. So, do you think it is the future, e-commerce?
It definitely is the future, Msizi, you know. I feel like Yeah, buying online is the it thing, now. I think the reason why most people have still not moved, to buying online and rather prefer going to like the store is because some people still believe in physically seeing stuff first before buying them, or some people are afraid of, online purchases, using their cards online, given, the much fraudulent activities that we see nowadays. But yeah, definitely e-commerce is the future. You see brands such as companies such as, like you said, Alibaba. Most suppliers are actually getting things from people like from Alibaba. Take a lot. They also supply quite a lot of companies as well. They resell for a lot of companies as well. So it's the future, man. It's the future. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, technology is quite scary if you have a look at it. It's exciting, but at the same time, it's scary because unfortunately, it comes with a lot of pros and cons. It's a positive thing that e-commerce is the future, but at the same time, it's negative in the sense that a lot of people are actually going to lose their jobs. But at the same time, that is why it's then important for people to always be up to date with technology, because I feel like if they are up to date with technology, then there's definitely there's no way that they could possibly be retrenched, because technology here in Africa is still a very scarce skill. Technological skills are very scarce. So yeah, e-commerce is the future.
Do you think you would find it, or do you find it difficult for you to sell your brand online where people won't feel the texture? Because you mentioned that you provide your product, or rather you cater for middle class and high end market. So what do you say about the touch? How do they feel the touch of your brand?
Oh man. um I think Msizi, it's when it comes to an online store, it's all about firstly, you need to read reviews. I think let me take from my personal experience, because I sometimes buy stuff from, Alibaba and AliExpress and Shein and all those online platforms to, purchase stuff. You can't really see the stuff, right? But you read the reviews of what other people say. You also then trust that what you are seeing is indeed what you are going to get. I think that's another thing that's very important to look at, Msizi, when you are building a brand. People should trust, just looking at your product online, that no, this is quality. Like for instance, if I were to buy something, from Woolworths, for instance, I know for a fact that it's of quality. I don't need more proof. I know for a fact that it's quality. So I think that's another important thing, that when you are building a brand, build something that is of quality to such an extent that, especially for us, people who sell online, who have online stores, people shouldn't need proof, or have to read reviews in order to, see that, okay, indeed what I'm buying is what is exactly I'm going to get, so yeah, I think it's just a matter of trusting the brand, that yes, indeed what I'm ordering from you guys is what I'm going to get when once this has been delivered to me. So yeah, it's all about quality, and I guess trusting the brand, because just like I said, I think that's when I started breaking. That when I purchased, for instance, on Alibaba or AliExpress or Take a Lot or whatever the case might be, I don't I don't necessarily know the texture of what I'm buying, or I don't know the quality of what I'm buying, but I trust Uguti, whatever it is that I'm purchasing from these people, is something that is of quality, and that is why it's important to then read the reviews of what other people have said, once they've received the product. So I think that's another thing that's important. Reviews from people, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now moving away from the business, I want to know your strengths now. Tell me what that's the biggest one, because that's where we know that hey, this person is going to take care of this brand. You have to tell me about your biggest failures in life. Where did you feel like, you know what, this is where I reached my rock bottom, and yeah, man, and this is how I came back from that failure. So what is that one failure that you've had?
Okay, so here are we talking more from like the personal side or from from the
The
business side?
person, it has to be about the personal side.
Oh, good. The biggest failures that I've encountered is that, as soon as you start working, and especially if you are not as, financially literate, you tend to make quite a lot of mistakes. You take up debts, unnecessarily, and then at some point, it haunts you. So I think, for me, that has been one of my biggest failures, and the way that I've, gotten to then overcome it. And I'm glad that, it's a lesson that I learned as young as I am. It's a lesson that I'm so grateful that I learned right now, instead of at a later stage when there's now kids and, there's a spouse. It's just, it would have been like too much. Um, so yeah, I think the way I've overcome, that failure is, reading books, that really, really help you with financial literacy. And secondly, YouTube videos. I don't think people understand the power that YouTube has. Obviously it depends on the kind of content that you watch, but it's a very powerful platform. Watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, about financial literacy. So it has really, really helped me quite a lot. And like I said, that I'm really glad that I learned it as soon as now. So that is why I've then taken it upon myself, to, fix whatever failures that I went through, in the early stages of, starting to work, because it comes with so much excitement. Okay, now I'm getting like, a salary. And it gets worse when you have a business, because now you have, another passive income on the side. So, it's so important to just be, educated about your finances.
Books actually that you have read that have inspired you, that have shaped your life, that you think that those books are your go-to books whenever you need the strength, whenever you need some advice, and all of that.
Okay. So I think that the first book would be Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Powerful book.
Very powerful book, it has helped me quite a lot, because just like I said, in the previous question that you asked, that it's helped me with managing my personal finances tremendously. It taught me the importance of financial literacy, which, like I said, I think our education system, it's something that we're not exposed to. Financial literacy is something that we're definitely not exposed to.
Definitely.
Which is essentially then what Robert Kiyosaki is challenging in his book, that the education system needs to really start, re-looking at their curriculum, because they need to start teaching things that are vital, that are going to actually help, our future leaders, which is us, the younger generation. They need to teach basic things such as financial literacy, problem solving. I think that's
Critical
another
thinking.
thing. Sorry.
I'm adding on your list to say critical thinking is one of the things that is really
Critical
important.
thinking. Yes, that's very true. I think if there's one course that has helped me, with problem solving, it's when I got into varsity, when I started doing IT. IT is about problem solving and coming up with solutions for those problems.
True.
But with regards to the subjects that I did in high school, I don't know how much those are helping me now. They are really not of much assistance to me. So I think that's one of the things that Robert Kiyosaki is, talking about in his book, is the importance of, being financially literate and teaching, yourself about managing your finances. And yeah. And then the second book, the second book. I think I actually should have put this book as the first book. It's The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. Oh man. I think more than anything, that book has taught me a lot of life lessons, a lot of life lessons. It has really, really blessed my life. It taught me stuff such as, living a balanced lifestyle, finding happiness and contentment, redefining what success is, because we sometimes can live such busy lives, that we get caught up and we never really get the time to rest and just enjoy the little things, in life. Because we're so busy, we don't have time. So yet again, positive thing that this whole pandemic has, brought to our attention, that it kind of slowed down the lives of people. Even people who were literally so busy, not having time for their families, not having time for themselves, just building themselves,
Right.
now they had all the time in the world to do that. So yeah, that's one of the positive things that I saw from this pandemic that we came back from, or in fact we're still in, is that it has really just helped us with just slowing down and enjoying the little things in life.
I think
So yeah.
most of all, I think this pandemic has taught us that the lifestyle that we are living is just an add-on. The most important thing is that we are alive.
You are alive, right?
You
Oh,
are alive. That's the only thing that you should be very grateful for.
ish. Yeah, no,
Yes.
that's very true. That's very, very true, Msizi. Ish. Yeah.
So, but
So
you
yeah.
have the third one.
Yes, I have the third book. It's called Who Moved My Cheese. I forgot who the author is. I read it such a long time ago. It's basically like a book about four rats, who represent the four different types of people that you encounter in life, in terms of adaptation to change. So the message that I got from the book is, things in our lives, constantly change. So we need to learn how to adapt. Life is very dynamic. It's full of changes, and change is inevitable. So we really need to learn how to adapt easily. The quicker we adapt to, the changes that life comes with, the more satisfied we'll be within. Life moves on. So should we. So
Right.
takes me back to my next statement of how I then got to find within IT what my passion is. I think when I look at the strengths that I have, and when I look at the passion that I have, because I have a very good eye when it comes to, designs. And
Right.
that's how I then got to establish that, I actually really like front end development. I actually really like dealing with documentation because I'm a person who really likes theoretical things mostly. I think that's one of the reasons why I did very well at school. Not to brag, but I'm just saying. um, challenging, right? It challenges the way that you think, and it allows you to just think outside of the box. It allows you to be a person who thinks outside of the box, who thinks differently from the rest. But yeah, it's very challenging, Shem.
Yeah. So no, the reason why I just came up with this question, it was because I wanted us to help someone who wants to get into IT so that he knows a little bit of what is happening there, what kind of projects that we do, and what you get out of that. And I like what you are saying, that you were doing a front end and you were doing documentation, and from that, you came up with a critical skill of, you know, being able to have a good eye for designs and all of that, and the theory part. So people should know that when they're getting into IT, that's what kind of, you know, skill that they will be coming up with, and all of that. So
I think, another thing that has, really helped, with realizing your strengths, that really helps with realizing your strengths, sorry, is that you get to do your best, like I've been saying, because I mean, for instance, let's just say I did the back end. The back end people are basically the brains of whatever project you are working on, because yo, they
so she's
basically the
coding.
people who create, yeah, they are the brains of whatever you're trying to build, So personally, I don't think that, not that I'm not capable of doing it. No, I think that's what MUT instilled in most of my IT students, is that you need to become a full stack developer. Somebody who knows how to deal with back end, front end, database, blah blah blah. But yeah, I had to get to a point where I realized that, what, this is where my strength lies. And because of that, I used to do very good work, in all projects, that I work on, IT related projects that I work on, I do a very good job, So yeah. I was once, I once worked with a company called the Digital Academy. It's based here in Johannesburg, and they are basically associated with APSA. Um, so it really helped me once again, just being aware of where my strengths lie. Because another thing is that in IT, you guys do work in teams. It's always about teamwork. You guys work in teams, so you then split the work amongst yourselves. What's okay, depending on what strengths you have, that is what you are going to do. If your strengths lie mostly with the coding, and the programming basically of the projects, then that is what you're going to do. If your strengths lie mostly with the design, and then combining both the back end and the front end, that is what you're going to do. So yeah, and for anybody who is planning on going into the IT space, it's one of the best fields to go into. IT is the future,
especially at this point in time,
at
in our life.
this, I think COVID yet again showed us that, it's IT is the future, man. It's yeah.
So last
Yes.
question, last
Yeah.
question. What would you um, say to someone who wants to get into your field, MC Qatar, in the retail industry? And then what would you give someone like an overall advice about life?
Okay, when it comes to the retail side of it, I think I'd mostly say, um, just know what your brand is about. You know, um, yeah, know what your brand is about, because it's ish. I think that's one of the failures that I have encountered, in terms of, my business, because I'm about to launch my business for the second time. I had launched it for the first time, but now this is the second time I'm launching it. At first, my business was just, it didn't really have like a purpose, it didn't really have, identity, if I may put it that way, So brand identity is so important. So just know what your brand is about, and how it's then contributing, towards the lives of, the people that you are servicing, or selling to. And yeah, I I think that's just about it. And with regards to uh, personal, advice that I give to a person, oof, I think it would mostly be surrounded, by humility. I think, yeah, man, we see quite a lot of people around us who become successful at some point and they let success get to their heads, So I think, so I think an important thing is that just don't let, success get to your head. And just be very wise in terms of, how you approach life, Oh, and another thing I think that has helped me quite a lot is exposing yourself to people who are going to influence your life very well.
Can you please expand on that? Because that's a powerful point.
It's exposing yourself to people who are just going to influence your life in a very, very good way. And what I mean by that is like, for instance, with me, I'm very, very much fortunate to be exposed to, very successful people, very wise people who have gone through, certain things in life. And then those lessons that they have learned from, those life encounters, they then pass them on to me so that I may not repeat the same mistake, or I may not do the same thing, So it's been, to my advantage quite a lot, I think another thing is that, even when it comes to workplaces and, at university, you tend to, people tend to talk quite a lot, and I'm a person who tends to get along very, very well with those who are superior than me. And, other people, to them, it's kind of like, how people are, when you then, when you get along with your superiors. But it has been to my advantage quite a lot because I learned quite a lot from them,
What would you say to people who are always on social media? The reason why I'm asking this question is I find that the youth is now very much attached to social media, that they don't even get any value from it. It's not like they have a purpose. They're not very intentional with going on social media in a sense that, I'm going there to find clients, or I'm going there to find valuable connections. I'm going there to do this and that. They're just going there for fun. So what would be your advice in terms of that?
It's very strange because, Lendo Shoyo, it's related to a status that I had posted a few days ago on WhatsApp, that if you are not using social media to empower yourself or to empower other people or to, empower yourself financially, then what are you doing? You are just essentially looking at other people's lives and what they are doing and, just helping them reach their dreams, but what are you doing on social media? You're wasting time and data. Data is very expensive, so sorry. The quote that I wanted to say was, if I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants.
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful. That is really powerful. And it
Very
speaks exactly to what you're saying, to
exactly.
connect with the right people.
To connect with the right people, people that are really going to propel you, in life. So
True.
yeah, but with regards to, the social media thing, yes, you are very much right, Msizi, when you say youth here to, abasam, like, people are just, they are not motivated, and the thing is, social media, it's good, I won't lie. It's good in the sense that, it connects you with people. Look at the amount of connections that you have on LinkedIn, for instance.
Yeah.
The amount
Yeah.
of, impact nje onayo on the vast amount of people that you have on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Social media can be used for the good, but I feel like people are the ones who are just then giving it such a negative, eye, because abantu bagcina sebe depressed even by, things that they look at on Instagram, ugcina
Instagram.
nje, you wish, oh my goodness, I wish I could, live that kind of life. just kind of like, you know, people are using social media for the wrong reasons and they're just wasting data and, you know, their own time. You know,
Right.
why don't you just do something productive? You know, rather use social media to empower yourself, empower other people, you know, to build your business or to build connections with other people, you know. Yeah, so yeah, you're definitely right. Youth here is, most of them, not all of them, most of them are using social media for the wrong reasons. And they'll never ever get to discover the power that social media has if they continue along on the law. Social media is so powerful. I mean, look at the amount of businesses that are opened right now on Instagram.
Hey,
The
yeah,
amount of, and that's one of the reasons why you know, companies such as Facebook and Instagram then decided to, you know, cater for people who want to start selling on Facebook and Instagram. You know, you now get like, you know, yeah, an online store obviously, and you're able to then, you know, sell, go on Instagram. Now WhatsApp, you're able to, you know,
yeah,
catalog that, or, you know, all your services, you know, on WhatsApp. So it's very powerful. Very,
thank
very.
you so much, Mbali. Thank you so much for your time. In closing, can you please give us your social media handles? Where can you find you personally? And would you please also share your company social media platform so that we can follow and, you know, and buy your products? And do you have, I didn't ask you this question, do you have or it's only for female or you also cater for men?
Oh, unfortunately,
Oh, it's for
unfortunately
female.
for now, you know, it's mostly for women. So I'd advise you to buy for your significant other from my store. For now it's just for females. Hopefully at a later stage, you know, we will then, you know, get to cater for, you know, men as well. So I'd highly advise, you know, men to start buying for their significant other from my store as a form of support. But so I personally don't have like an Instagram account due to personal reasons, but for my business, you can find me at MV Couture Online on Instagram. And then,
And on LinkedIn, do you want people to follow you on LinkedIn?
yes, please.
So on LinkedIn, guys, it's
People can find
Mbalenhle
me.
one.
Yes, people can find me on LinkedIn. It's Mbalenhle Vundla.
Right. Mbalenhle, thank you so much for your time. It is truly valued. I certainly learned a lot from you. Thank you for sharing your expertise, your experiences, your journey, your personal journey as well as your professional journey. So I would really like to thank you so much for sparing this time and like choose to be with us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem, not a problem. I think, sorry, just to add one more thing, you know, is yesterday, you know, as I was driving, I was so motivated, you know. There's a guy who goes by the name of Theo Baloy, who owns
Yeah.
Ipatu Shoes.
Yes.
Wow, I am so inspired. I am truly so inspired by that guy. You know, when you look at the story of how he actually started, you know, and where he is now, wow,
Mm,
I've learned quite a lot of lessons, even when it comes to, you know, business. You know, hard work and consistency, you know, is very, very important.
right.
Hard work
That
and
is very.
consistency is very important. Yes, 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 definitely. You know,
I
so
truly
yeah,
respect that. So
neither did I.
I respect him, and I think he's doing a lot. He's doing great, actually. You know, he has created a lot of opportunities for people. I mean, he's amazing. He's just
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So I big ups to him. Twa into enhle yanconywa ngesiZulu. So yeah, he's done very, very well for himself, and we really wish him all the best. You know, yeah.
Yeah. All right then, Mbalente, thank you so much for your time and all the best with everything. I hope to have you again in the near future. to talk about the progress, and all the best with your second launch, and all the best with everything in your life.
Thank you so much, Msizi. All the best with your future endeavors too.
Yeah, cool. All right,
Awesome.
then. Bye-bye. Bye, guys. Hope you enjoy our talk. Please follow me on all social media platforms as Msizi Simon Ndlovu, and please follow our YouTube channel and subscribe. Thank you so much.